did see The Stand last night. It was just the first hour of the miniseries. It was okay. I think if I'd never seen the other miniseries or read the book, it would have been better because the changes they made were glaring, and I kept waiting for things to happen that didn't happen. But I did like the layout. Like when it first started, they started in Boulder, Colorado, cleaning dead bodies up. So that was cool. I like that. I like the beginning. And then the rest of the story was told in flashbacks and in flashbacks inside of flashbacks. So if you're not paying attention, gonna be lost.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I saw your write up and I don't like that. Like, I don't know. I kind of like when you're kind of dropped in the middle of it and like we show the transition from regular world to what happens. And like,
Right.
I just feel it's more dread in that
I
rather
can
than
agree
just
with
being
that.
dropped in the middle of this shit and then see, oh, okay, well, the world's fucked. It's another post-apocalyptic thing, and let's just flash back and show what happened.
Right.
But that's just me.
I can agree with that because you want to kind of get to that point where you're like, okay, so are they gonna like make this work? What are they gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, especially at a time like when it comes out during like COVID and we're kind of in like a pandemic sort of situation right now, like, and there's so much dread and fear out there. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, wouldn't it be better to play off of that and like, because it's sort of the same situation, right? It's a plague that takes over, so it's like show how bad things get and then start cleaning things up.
I would have thought so, but maybe they were thinking maybe you don't want people. People are already struggling as it is. You don't want to be like, oh, guess what? There's no hope. So maybe that's what they were thinking.
Well, my guess is they just wanted to make something different than the original, right? Just to have it, be a separate thing.
Right. And speaking of differences, the obvious differences, they made a few people black that were originally white, which confused me because I was like, wait, who's that? Oh, that's Larry Underwood. I'm like, no, it's not. Well, yeah, it is. And Campion is a black dude. So I'm not saying anything racial, but that's the thing. When you've seen it already and you've read the story and you like it the way it is, and then they change integral characters, you're like, oh, I like the character the way that he was. In the book, one thing is that they kept the same in the movies, Harold Lauder. In the book, he's a fluffy teenager, overweight, really awkward, kind of scary, makes people uncomfortable. In this miniseries, he's just like in the other miniseries, skinny, awkward kid. But I think he's probably better than Parker Lewis because Parker Lewis messed me up. See, I was like, oh well, what's he doing here?
That's
Watching
right.
him be awkward was weird.
I forgot Corin Nemec was in the first one.
Yeah. Oh no, that's not good.
Oh, that's right. I forgot it was him. It's been a
Right.
long time since I've watched the only thing I remember from the original miniseries is Gary Sinise leading a bunch of people all over the desert on motorbikes.
Yeah.
Which makes it
There's a
kind of
lot
sound
more.
like Mad Max.
Yeah. A lot more to it. Maybe watch it again one day. Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to watch the new one
Yeah,
and
watch the
then
new one. Then
go back
watch
to the original one.
right. And then they did modernize it because Harold gets beaten up, and then of course they record it for social media.
Mm-hmm.
But it felt a little forced. I know it needed to be there, but it felt a little bit like somebody's like, you know what? If this happened now, what do the kids do? They'd
Yeah.
record it and put it on TikTok, right? That's what it felt like. Somebody's like, yeah, let's do that. So they're like, okay, let's do it. That's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah. Well, when was the Stand written originally?
19 I don't know when it was written, but it was originally published in 1978.
Yeah. So I mean, we're looking at something that's 40 years old.
Right.
So it's difficult to really move something that was written 40 years ago into current times without
Right.
making a lot of drastic changes to it, unfortunately.
Right.
And that's really, I don't know, that's what I don't like about when movies or shows are made based on content that was written well before the production time.
Right.
I see that they're trying to update it and be like, okay, well, now we're going to beat him up and put him on TikTok.
Right.
But it's like, if you're putting it in today's context, that shit ain't going to fly. Because if that goes on TikTok, the bullies are going to be the ones that are lynched, not not everybody looking at the TikTok video laughing at the nerdy kid getting beat up, right?
Well, and it's Instagram, but it's true, right? It wouldn't fly now, like at all. But that's what they put in there. One thing I did like was in the book, Larry Underwood, when this all falls apart, he gets together with a lady. In the book, her name is Rita. In the original miniseries, Rita and Nadine are made into one person. So in this incarnation, they've separated Rita and Nadine again. I kind of like that. Just because in the book, it's like a whole thing. But in the movie, they're like, let's just put them together. It's fine. Yeah. But in the new incarnation, they put Nadine and Lucy together now. Like they overlap. And because I read the original book and watched the miniseries, the overlap is pretty obvious.
Mm-hmm.
But they did bring back kind of how they met from the book, but they cut a lot of stuff out. They hopped around a lot. They cut a lot of stuff out. That it doesn't quite make sense, and maybe it doesn't need to make sense because of the telling of the story. But
how long is this series? Is it like a mini series or is it like
it's
an
a
actual
mini-series? It's a 9-part mini-series.
9-part? Holy shit! Like 9-hour long?
Well, maybe it's 7-part. Either way, it's long, and each segment is an hour.
Well, it's certainly longer than the original, which was, 4 hours?
Right. So, I don't know if they're going to fill all that in later on, which I don't know how they're going to do that, because by the end of this segment, Franny and Stu are together, and that baby is coming. Or it will be shortly. So, I don't know. Maybe they're going to fill it in later. I don't know. But also, in the book, Franny is pregnant by her boyfriend that she's about to break up with before the pandemic happens. So the baby she has is the baby she had with the boyfriend. In the miniseries, she's pregnant with Stu. So I guess... So in this new incarnation, I think she's pregnant by Stu and not the boyfriend. Actually, I'm not sure. The reason why I'm not sure is because she tries to commit suicide. She survived, but a baby would not survive that. So maybe they tried to do both. She was pregnant by the boyfriend, lost that baby, and then got pregnant by Stu. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she didn't try to commit suicide in the book or the prior miniseries. They just put that in, and then Harold rescued her. I don't know. They put some stuff in that didn't need to be there and took things out I thought should be in there. You know the doctor in the end who goes in to kill Stu because he's pissed that everybody's dead except him?
Yeah.
He doesn't really exist anymore. They've broken him up into 2 separate parts. Now it's Sergeant Cobb and Dr. Ellis is essentially his part. So the smug elitist is gone. And Sergeant Cobb is taking orders from somebody. Nobody knows who. Not even the military. So I guess they're going to play that angle, maybe?
Well, that whole thing would have wrapped up in the first episode, though, no?
But it didn't.
Or
because
he's still around?
No, he had the flu. And then he came in to kill Stu and Stu's doctor, Dr. Ellis, who also was dying from the flu. He accidentally killed the doctor, and then Stu killed him. And then, prior miniseries, the general, he's watching over the monitors all the dead people in the CDC. Then he kills himself. Well, in the new show, he actually lets Stu out and helps him find his way out of the CDC, but first has this whole moment with him. And he's not sick, by the way. And he has this whole moment. He lost his daughter. And if you see anybody out there, tell them I stayed with my post at the very end. And then you hear him pull the trigger as Stu is finding his way out of the CDC.
That was another role in the original series, though, wasn't it? I thought there was a general like that.
There was, but he did not interact with Stu. He was a separate. He never interacted.
Yeah. Ed Harris, right?
Ed Harris, yeah.
Yeah.
And this one is J.K. Simmons. You know the guy who does the farmers commercials?
Yeah.
It's him.
J. Jonah Jameson.
Yep.
So that was cool. I like him as an actor. He interacted with Stu, whereas in any other telling, there is no such interaction at all. It was fine, but
unnecessary
different.
Changes.
Right.
So what would you say is their target audience for the series? Is it like, are they targeting people who know the book, or are they targeting people who are familiar with the fact that it is a book and have never read it?
I think they're trying to do both. I think on the one hand, they're trying to shake it up for the fans they know is going to watch it. So they're trying to give us something that is not a complete copy of what we've already seen before. And people who've never seen it, they're not going to notice the holes. Maybe they'll fill them later. I don't know. But they're trying to target both. And that's a tough sell because the fans are already going to be like, wait, wait a minute. Another thing is, in the original miniseries, they got rid of most of the wolf activity. They brought the wolves back in this one. So I'm hoping they'll bring a character that was in the book but not in the miniseries back. The kid, he's a disgusting he's like 5'3", 3 inches of hair, 3 inches of high heels. He's a psychotic little creep. He comes from Louisiana. He's disgusting. He's always threatening somebody's life. And he and Trash Can Man are actually traveling to Vegas together, even though in the miniseries, Trash Can Man just walked through the desert alone. He doesn't want to leave his car. At a certain point, the roads is just like miles and miles of dead bodies and traffic. And then wolves come out and then corner him. The idea the wolves are just going to sit there and wait him out.
Mm-hmm.
And then Trash Can Man, he's walking to Vegas. So that little disgusting creep, they could bring him back. That'll make it better for people who've never read the book but want something different. He really was a disgusting, reprehensible human being. He sexually assaulted Trash Can Man. They can leave that out. Yeah, the kid is a lot. But yeah, you can see where they cut things out and sped them up. Kathy Bates' part where she was the radio DJ.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like resisting the government. They killed her on air. Well, in this one, it's a man over the radio, and he's sick. And you can hear him coughing while he's trying to keep doing his job, and everything else is shut down. And then he committed suicide on air. So I think they're trying to do both to entertain fans and make it fast and modern enough for people who've never seen it before.
Not make the government look bad.
Maybe that too.
But yeah, you're probably exactly right there. That sounds a lot to me like to do it the way the book and the original series was. It would be more of a slow burn, especially for 7, 9 episodes, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And with modern audiences, are they really going to stick around till episode 4 before the action really starts kicking in? Like, like if people aren't familiar with the book or the old series, they're going to get bored by a lot of the talking and stuff in the first few episodes, right? Setting everything up.
Yeah, we'll see. They're trying to do a little of everything. It looks like. I think they're moving too fast because part of what makes the story so intense is that there's time.
Mm-hmm.
They're moving up north. They're going to the CDC, and then they go to New Hampshire, and then everybody packs up, and they go to Colorado. Part of the horror is it's slow.
Yeah.
One thing I'm kind of disappointed by is the recasting of Flag, because their original idea was going to be to have Matthew McConaughey do it, to reprise the role from Dark Tower, right? And I mean, I get it. Obviously, Dark Tower was a huge bomb, but the fact that they wanted to originally make all these things actually interconnect, all these Stephen King things and modern ones, that would have been awesome.
They should have done it. It would have made all the sense in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, when you consider the fact that, I mean, the Dark Tower series does mix into everything Stephen King has written,
Mm-hmm.
it would have made perfect sense.
I mean, if we're talking about series, why the hell didn't they adapt that one into a miniseries or an actual full-blown series?
That's what I'm saying. I think
Like,
it was probably just too much of a money grab. I mean, McConaughey and then
Yeah.
Idris Elba. I mean, they're just going like get the fans in there and get the money. And they told a little kind of weak piece of a story, and it wasn't even correct.